Hey guys, welcome to the 24th episode of Q&A. In VLSI, we come across log file every now and then from various EDA tools. The part of the log file that bothers us most is the warning and error section. Viewer Ajay Ramagiri has asked in the 5th episode of Tickle in VLSI series how to print only the warnings from a given log file using Tickle. So, in today's episode, we are going to demonstrate a short and sweet Tickle code to extract the warnings from a EDA tool log file. This code can be sandwiched even inside your EDA tool very own Tickle shell code. So, gear up and enjoy the learning experience. Hey guys, welcome back to the computer screen. We are discussing viewer's question. Ajay Ramagiri has asked that how to print only the warnings from a given data.log file. He has asked this question in the 5th episode of Tickle in VLSI. So there I have discussed the file IO, that means input output of a file. So without any further delay, let's begin. So in today's episode, we will cover the below points. Pick up the log file with warning message. This is because we have to pick a right log file which has a sufficient amount of warning message. Understand the code flow and organization. So here we will discuss how the code is organized and how it is functioning. Writing the Tickle code. I'll go line by line of the Tickle code. Code execution in terminal, live demo. So after that, the discussions are done. We will go towards the actual terminal where we will execute the code and see the output. That's the menu for today. So without any further delay, let's begin. Log file with warning and message. When this question came, I was doing some research on the internet to find out a particular log file which is not written by me, however, which is an actual log file, and that log file is containing different types of warnings. I found one, and in that log file, these two type of warning messages are there. So this log file is not from any EDA tool. This is a general log file, and basically there is no difference in a log file because it's ASCII, that is a text file, and that will contain warning in different formats. So here in the first snippet, you can see that, let me bring up the mouse. So here you can see this warning is followed by two messages. So this is a one type of warning. The second type of warning, you can see there are two separate warnings are there. However, these are sufficient in one line. The log file I picked up from the internet has these two type of warning. Our purpose is to filter out all these two types of warnings from the actual log file. So we're done with this slide. Let's move on to the next slide. Code flow and organization. First, in the code, we will open the log file for reading, and in this direction our flow is going on. Next, we will parse line by line the file. Then, while parsing line by line, we will match the lines with the regular expression with case insensitive touch for the keyword warning. And finally, whatever we get in this process, we will output that data in screen, that is in terminal, as well as we will dump the details in another log file, which is different from the input log file, that is an output log file, where we are filtering the warning messages only. So this way, our flowchart is working for the code. Now we are done with this slide. So let's move on to the next slide. Writing the Tickle code. Here in this pink box, go line by line of the code. First, we start the code with the hashbang user bin TCL, which is the Tickle interpreter. Next, we use the file handle fread to open the error.log in read mode. You can see there is R. Now this error.log I have picked up from internet. The link I will also provide you so that you can grab this log file at your end and you can try out the same code. We open another file handle, that is fwrite, for writing output log file, that is a warning.log. This is a log file that we are creating and we are opening it in a write mode. That's why the flag is W. Then we use the while loop. I have already described this method in the 5th episode where this question was asked by the viewer, and we are using the same kind of setup with the while loop here. Till the end of file, we are iterating on the file handle. Next, we get each line from the file handle, and then we trim out the new line character using this particular Tickle code, that is a string and trim right. Character that we are removing is \n, that is a new line character. Next, once this trimming is done, we are taking the first regular expression match and we are using the no case. That means whether it is in a small caps, whether it is in a upper caps, in both cases, or it is in a mixed cap. So in all the three cases, the warning keyword will be matched in the current line. Next, we print the line on our screen, whichever matching we are finding. As in the code flow and organization slide, I have said that we are dumping the code both on the screen as well as in the output file. Next, we write the same line to the output log file. Next, we write the same line with the file handle fwrite inside the output warning.log file. Here, our first if block is closed. Next, we search for the keyword message. We do a regular expression matching for the keyword message because I have shown you in the first type of warning, each warning line is getting followed by a line which contains the keyword message, which corresponding to the warning only. This is additional effort that we have to do. Now we print the line in the terminal and then we write the same line in the output file with the file handle fwrite and we close it. And here we close the while loop. Finally, we close the file handle fread and we close the file handle fwrite. So this way our code is written. We are done with the explanation of the code here. Let's move on to the next slide. Code execution and live demo. So it's our time. Let's move on to the terminal where we will do the actual hands-on operation on the code and see the output. So here we are in the terminal and I am in the directory where the code is kept. So you can see this is the error.log. Again, I am emphasizing that I'll provide this link in the description of this video so that you can get this log file. So let me show you first log file. So you can see the log file is huge. It has 99 lines. And inside this, if I search, I have searched the keyword warning here inside this particular file. I am using right now the GVim text editor and here you can see warning, 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 and here you can see warning. So these are two type of warning. You can see this one warning is followed by 2 lines and again the next warning is followed by 2 lines. You can see that here you don't have the messages allied to this. At the end we see another type of warning which are single line only. So this 99 lines, our program code will parse and only extract these lines and the corresponding 11 lines from the warning. And let me open the code. This code I have already explained to you in the slide, so I'm not going here in details. Just I shown you the code is the same as that we are already discussed. So let me quit this one and so you can see that this has the execution permission. Now I will execute the code and for that I am using the / operation and I am hitting enter. You can see the program has now extracted the warnings along with the messages as well as the warning which do not have the messages. So these warnings have messages attached to each warning and these 2 warnings which are single. Now I will do a ls. You can see our output warning.log file is also created. Let me open it. And once I open it, you can see side by side the same thing which is printed here in the screen. It is also dumped here in the text file. It is very important, folks, because if you create an output file, that will help you in long term. If the message goes in the screen and suddenly the terminal is closed, you will not be able to recover the message. However, if a file is written in the disk, even the terminal is closed, you can open a new terminal, go up to that path and open this particular output file so that you have your data intact. I'll advise you to keep this practice to dump a output file whenever you are trying to extract some data. This habit will help you in long run. Here we are done showing the output to you. Let me close it. And here we reached the end of today's episode. Thank you very much for watching up to this point. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe. In case you have some dislikes, put that as in comments in the comment section down below.